Blog Talk Radio.
Writing your book is the easy part. Promoting your book so readers can find and purchase it is the hard part. Welcome to the Author Chat Show, hosted by author-publisher Lynda D. Brown. Follow us at www.facebook.com/authorchat. And to contact the show to promote your book, contact me at theauthorchatshow@gmail.com. Stay tuned and listen to today's show.
Good morning and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Author Chat Show. I'm your host, Lynda D. Brown. My guest today is Dr. Kathy Gruver. She will be chatting with us today about her new book, Journey of Healing, One Woman's Path to Healing Self and Others. Dr. Gruver is an award-winning author and the host of the national TV show based on her first book, The Alternative Medicine Cabinet. She has earned her PhD in natural health and has authored 5 books. We'll be right back to chat with Dr. Gruver after a word from today's sponsor.
How would you like to own your own health and wellness business with celebrities like Shaquille O'Neal, Chris Brown, Snoop Dogg, Jennifer Lopez, UFC fighters Brandon Vera, Houston Alexander, DWTS's Alfonso Ribeiro, singer B. Howard, and MMA fighter Rich Rigmadden promoting your business for you? How would you like to share amazing, great-tasting products with your friends and family and make extra money and get free products? How would you like to earn weekly and monthly bonuses? What about getting your share of equity in this billion-dollar company? For more information, log on to www.whatareyouyoueating.info.
All right, welcome back to the show. Again, my guest today, for those of you just tuning in, is Dr. Kathy Gruver, and she is going to be chatting with us about her new book, Journey of Healing, One Woman's Path to Healing Self and Others. Dr. Gruver, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lynda. I appreciate you having me.
Not a problem. The first thing I want to do is make sure I'm pronouncing your last name right. Is that correct, Gruver?
It is Gruver, yes.
Gruver, okay. Like groovy, but Gruver.
You got it, exactly.
All right, great. Well, again, welcome to the show. This is your first time chatting with us. I mentioned a little bit about what you do, Kathy. You're an award-winning author and the host of the national TV show, The Alternative Medicine Cabinet. I believe I've seen that. Is that still being shown to this day?
It is. It's in post-production. So we've only had one episode out. They're reorganizing the network. We actually have a production meeting this week, and so we're expecting it to be on soon. So we have 50 episodes coming when it's ready to go. So very excited.
Awesome. Okay, make sure you let us know so that we can promote it here on the Author Chat Show for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that.
Wonderful. All right, let's get started. So tell us, other than the small part that I just read about you, tell us a little bit about yourself. When did you start writing, Kathy?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I started doing massage about 25 years ago, which was a complete surprise. I was an actress. I never expected to get into anything involving healing. Never on my list of things to do. And through a series of circumstances that, you never expect to happen, I told someone the other day, I said, I think I just followed the breadcrumbs and ended up here. I started writing back in 2009, and I was doing a lot of articles and a lot of magazine pieces, and I realized I really needed to have a book. And so I wrote my first book, The Alternative Medicine Cabinet, which was turned into the TV show. And I realized it was sort of addictive. Once you write one, I started writing more and more. I had so much to say because I want to help people. Everything I do, and I have such a vast background of things I do, whether it's public speaking or the radio and TV and the writing and the private practice, it's all to help people. So all of my books are very practical. They're fun. They're easy to read. But I want to let people know they have a different choice that they can make about their health. And so to me, it's about choices. And so I've been writing I've been writing my whole life, but I've been writing these types of books since 2009, and really excited to keep having more come out. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Kathy, more and more people are beginning to turn to alternative medicine, which I think is a great thing. I've never really been a fan. My doctors hate me. I'm going to be honest with you. Why? Because I'm going to tell you why. I do not treat them as God. They're not the end-all, be-all. They're not the last resource. You know what I'm saying? I will go out and get a second opinion. I will look for alternative ways and home remedies or healthful remedies instead of taking pills. And I just think that is just the worst way. And I apologize if I'm insulted any doctors that might be listening to the show, but I truly believe that. Why do you think it is that more and more people are turning to alternative medicine?
Yeah, I think there's several reasons. So the first one is we're getting so little time with our practitioners. You know, the average doctor gets to spend about 7 minutes with a patient, and especially if you're older, if you do have health concerns, those are not what you launch with first. You do the small talk, and then by the time the doctor's ready to leave the room, you go, oh, hey, and by the way, my left leg fell off yesterday. I probably should have mentioned that. And they're ready to leave. So we're getting very little time with our practitioners, which is not the practitioner's fault. It's because of the insurance companies and the medical billing and, all these things they have to do besides just patient care. It's got to be incredibly frustrating to be a physician who actually got into that field to help and now can't in the way that they would like to.
Exactly.
Also, I agree with you. People are really sick of just being handed a prescription or a long Latin word or a series of initials. You've got COPD. You've got PMS. You've got, everything has initials now, which my husband and I joke about that. We put initials on everything now. But I think people are really tired of that. They're tired of not getting the education along with the prescription. And so people are looking for a second and third opinion, and they are turning to alternative medicine, which is customizable. It fits you. It's normally affordable. It's so popular. It's so mainstream now, everything from massage and chiropractic. And I just read an article this morning that really excited me that Switzerland was deeming 5 alternative therapies just as valid as what we call Western medicine, and they're including things like acupuncture and homeopathics and herbal medicine. That's so exciting to me because those things can work for the right thing. For the right thing being the operative word. And I'm so glad we have our Western medicine. I'm glad my dad can inject his insulin. I'm glad I was able to have my thyroid taken out. I have a very dear friend who was just diagnosed with a brain tumor, and the doctor said, we need to go in and take this out. And he said, well, I'm an alternative medicine practitioner. Is there anything that I can do from an alternative standpoint to help stop this? And the doctor was very reasonable about it. He said, in other circumstances, I would say, yes, let's try it. But this nearly tripled in size in 30 days. We don't have time for herbs. And to which I agree. In that situation, get the thing cut out. And then let's look to see what complementary alternative medicine can do. So I really think there's a place for both. I agree it's not my first go-to. But for a lot of people, I'm really glad we have it.
Exactly. Kathy, another reason that I think a lot of people seriously, if you have any common sense whatsoever, are turning to alternative medicines, listen to the commercials as they promote these new medicines, and then they start talking about the side effects. The side effects are worse than what the original problem was. Why in the world would I take something that's going to, what in the world is going on? How scary, like you mentioned, how scary is that for, especially like you mentioned, older adults that, especially older African-American adults, and I'm not just singling African-Americans out. I'm African-American, as you might be able to understand, but for some reason, our generation, they just really, anything the doctor says, they don't question it. They just, on these drugs, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
So horrible.
I think I think people are looking for a quick fix, and I think this has become a generational thing. I think my dad's generation was taught the doctor's always right. You don't question the doctor. It's a guy in a white coat with a stethoscope, and that's who you listen to. And it kind of frustrates me because I've got that generation who comes to me after being treated horribly by their physician, and I have some clients who are in their 70s, 80s, even 90s, who I think, frankly, are being abused, not necessarily by the doctor, but by the system. They've had a urinary tract infection 10 times last year, and rather than actually figuring out the cause, they're just being thrown antibiotics. To which I say, you shouldn't be having 10 UTIs a year. Let's get to the cause. Well, he said it's not a big deal, and then they just stop. And then we have the other generation who they just want the quick fix. I've had a headache for 20 minutes, and I want it to go away. It's like, well, okay, you can go that route, but again, why don't we find out what the core problem is and treat it from there? And the downside for me is I have people come to me after they've been to 16 doctors and they've had 3 surgeries and they're on 12 meds, and they turn to me and say, fix me. And I go, okay, and it becomes this unpiling of rocks to actually get to how in the world did this start. And I'm not a physician. I have a PhD, so I'm not allowed to diagnose. I'm not allowed to prescribe, but I can investigate. I can be a health detective. And sometimes it's so difficult because they use me as a last resort when, had they actually come to me with their back pain a year ago, we probably could have dealt with it, So it's just where you put your priorities, and I think common sense is right. Of course, looking around what's happening in the world right now, I think common sense went away. But I think we do have to use, ration and reasonable and really think through things before you just blindly go, okay, whether it's alternative medicine or Western medicine. I see people getting shysted all the time by alternative medicine. So just use your head, use your head, be logical.
Absolutely. Use your head, absolutely. Looking at your book, you talk about a lot of different things that you use, I'm assuming, in your practice, massage, herbs. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, like I said, I started out as a massage therapist, and that's actually how I kick off the book, because what I wanted to do is I wanted to show people my journey through how I discovered all of these things, because I do so many different modalities. I started out with massage, and then I moved into Reiki, which is a hands-on healing energy technique, and then I'm not an herbalist, so I kind of played with herbs, which is probably not, and I tell some stories where playing with herbs did not turn out so well, because I want people to know that, I'm human and I screwed up silly things too. And then homeopathics, and I talk about chiropractic, not because I'm a chiropractor, but I really see it to be a pivotal role in my staying healthy. I'm very active. I dance. I do flying trapeze. My chiropractor keeps me upright. I actually have 3 chiropractors that I use. And then I go through the modalities of hypnotherapy, and I talk a lot about nutrition and the way I've used these things in my practice. And I want people to use this as a primer so that they can say, hey, how can I use this in my life? But I also want them to know how it's affected me and my clients. So throughout the book, there's also peppered with what I call pivotal moments, and they are personal stories that are either humorous or touching, or they have some sort of life lesson. And I tell a lot of these during my public speaking, and people are like, oh, I love your stories. And so I put those in as well, not because I need to talk about myself, but because they lead to they lead the reader to a story, to a lesson. And to me, you can either give someone the lesson or you can give them a parable about the lesson. And I think people like to know that you're human and that you've had these experiences too. So, and I also talk a lot about cancer. I lost my mom at 18 to cancer. So I have a whole chapter on cancer. I see a lot of cancer patients. And so it basically just goes through, the different things that I've tried and I've used and my successes and my failings with it. Because I want people to know how this stuff works, not just go try it, but how it actually can work and help. I'm very practical. I'm, like a triple Capricorn, so I'm very, very logical, very practical, very common sense, and that's how I approach. That's how I approach my health and my clients' health.
Wonderful. Now, you brought up cancer, and believe it or not, we're in sync here. That was my next question. Now, for my listening audience, I want you to pay attention to what I'm getting ready to say. A lot of the people, Kathy, that I know that are into the alternative medicine, they have said over and over that there really is a cure for cancer. What's your stand on that? Have you, what's your view on that, please?
Yeah. Here's my first reaction on that. To say cure for cancer, I have to say, whose cancer and which cancer, because there's as many cancers now as there are people, which is really confusing. That's like saying, what's your favorite kiss? Oh, well, my goodness, how do you pick a favorite kiss? It's so vast and it's so complicated. I have definitely read about, I have known clients who were cured from cancer by alternative methods. Unfortunately, a lot of these people were kicked out of the U.S. and they're now across the border in Mexico because you're not allowed to cure cancer. A lot of people don't know the whole. There's multitudes of books written about people who have basically been, I don't want to say disbarred, that's law, but had their medical license taken away or were thrown in jail. There are so many ways to treat cancer, and we're not getting access to a lot of them. Now, having said that, I have a lot of clients who were doing these radical, crazy alternative medicine things, which should be their right to do, but they weren't using their head. They weren't even getting the scans to see if it was working. And there was one woman who I really felt that she was wasting tens of thousands of dollars, which she didn't have. She begged me for discount massage sessions, and then I found out she was spending $8,000 a month on all of these treatments, which I thought were hooey, which not my cancer, so she can do whatever she wants. But she wasn't even using the resources she had to see if it was working. And it drove me crazy to the point where I said, I'm so sorry. I wish you the best of luck. I can't keep seeing you because I feel like you're really doing harm to yourself, and I can't be a part of that. So I think there's so many alternative things to do, and I think they can be done in concert, like my friend with a brain tumor, with Western medicine. So try the acupuncture, try the herbs, and I don't know that homeopathics would do much, but getting massage and doing Reiki and visualization and decreasing your stress. There's so many things you can try and so many things that can help, and I think we have to explore all those options, and a doctor that tells you not to, I don't think they're doing their job.
I don't either. I agree with that 100%. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Dr. Gruver is going to read from her book, Journey of Healing, One Woman's Path to Healing Self and Others. All right, so we'll be right back after a word from today's sponsor.
How would you like to own your own health and wellness business with celebrities like Shaquille O'Neal, Chris Brown, Snoop Dogg, Jennifer Lopez, UFC fighters Brandon Vera, Houston Alexander, DWTS's Alfonso Riviero, singer B. Howard, and MMA fighter Rich Rigmadden promoting your business for you? How would you like to share amazing, great-tasting products with your friends and family and make extra money and get free products? How would you like to earn weekly and monthly bonuses? What about getting your share of equity in this billion-dollar company? For more information, log on to www.whatareyouyoueating.info.
All right, welcome back to the show. Dr. Gruver is going to read an excerpt from her book, Journey of Healing, One Woman's Path to Healing Self and Others. Dr. Gruver, what chapter and what page are you reading from?
I thought let's just start from the beginning. I'm on page 1.
We love that.
The book is divided into really small, great, short little chapters, but they're long enough that I didn't want to get halfway through one and not get through the whole thing. So I thought I'd read the introduction because that's what tells you about the book anyway. So here we go.
Wonderful.
It's Introduction, My Story. I've been involved in natural health and alternative medicine practically my entire life. When I was a kid, I was drawn to massage and had a full imaginary medical practice for all my stuffed animals. I actually kept a chart of their shots, and when my mom would give me little Smartie candies to put in the pill containers, I would ration them out as if they were real medication, not just eat them like most kids would. I read my parents' college textbooks, the psychology and biology ones especially interesting to me. The clear plastic anatomy overlays were fascinating. But even though my faux veterinary practice thrived, I never had a desire to enter the field of medicine. I was an actress, an artiste. I was going to entertain the masses and be the next big thing in Hollywood. I started performing in 5th grade and was hooked. I spent my entire life dancing, and acting came naturally as well. My childhood took an unexpected dramatic turn when my mother was diagnosed with a rare cancer on her spine. My carefree, only child existence shifted to one of years of watching my mother suffer through chemo, radiation, multiple surgeries, losing her hair, addiction to morphine, constantly vomiting, and what I can only imagine was inconceivable pain. She lost her battle way too young. When she was not quite 46, I was newly 18. Most people assume, understandably, that this experience with my mom was what propelled me forward into the healing arts, but I can say it wasn't. You can't come through an experience like that and have it not affect you, but I can't say A equals B equals C. What that childhood did was provide me with the urge to find options, not settle for one solution presented for anything, because my mother wasn't given many options. Pittsburgh in the 80s didn't have many alternatives for her. I remember asking about things like acupuncture and herbs, but the looks told all. Was I crazy? The one thing I do remember was my mom being given a hypnosis tape. One side was the ocean. The one thing that brought her great joy was our yearly vacations in Virginia Beach. The other side, I think, was a guided meditation for pain or sleep. I think she listened to it once. What she did do was pray, and being Catholic, she put great faith in Virgin Mary. Miraculous medals were pinned to every housecoat and nightgown, and statues lined the room. Clearly, Mary desired her closer because the healing never came and the cure was missing. I remember being frustrated that no one had options for her. But as a kid, what did I have to offer? I remember reading books about psychic healing and charged water and gemstone and plants, but I had no power to intervene. My father was an angel to her, pretty much acting as nurse 24/7. If anything, he was a large inspiration to me, showing me compassion and care and patience, which I always didn't have as a teen. But sorrowful stories aside, my life is now filled with helping others find healing through my hands-on work, my books, my speeches, my media appearances. I couldn't help my mom. Ooh, I might tear up. But in her memory, I can help countless other people find healing. So that's what this book is, options. Not everything will work for you. Not everything will make sense to you or fit into your belief structure. But with this buffet, take what you will and leave the rest for another. We are all on an individual journey, and we cannot judge or imagine what another is here for. I wish you all find completeness and healing in your life, and hopefully this book will act as a beacon of choice.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kathy. I know you're emotional because I'm tearing up as well. And this is why it's so important, guys, to look for books like Kathy's, because we're losing so many family members, dear friends. I have a friend now. We've been best friends since we were 4, and I'm watching her. I have to be very careful because I know she's listening to this, but she's on dialysis. She's on dialysis 3 times a week.
Wow.
I'm very concerned about her lifespan. I guess that's the best way that I can put it, you know.
Right.
Kathy, what is this? More and more people that I know are on dialysis 3 or 4 times a week. What is going on?
Yeah, I actually have a client and good friend, she was a student of mine too, who at age like 27 had massive kidney failure. So I'm seeing this stuff happen younger, and I think so much of it is the environment. It's the toxins. You know, our food is not like the food I had as a kid. I hate to say that I sound so old. Not that I had the best food in the 70s. You know, woo, Hamburger Helper. But it was different hamburger. You know, it was different Hamburger Helper. It was better Hamburger Helper.
It really was.
You know, we didn't have all the GMOs, and we didn't have such a huge increase in pesticides. And like I said, I have a whole chapter on nutrition where I talk about all that, and I get actually a little feisty. That's kind of my cranky chapter. And thank you for letting me read that excerpt. I had no idea I would get emotional about that. I've never read it out loud. And it's one thing writing it and reading it, but to actually speak it, I kind of went, okay. So thank you all for letting me do that. But yeah, no, I'm seeing so much stuff strike younger, and you know, all the cancers, and so much thyroid issue, and that's one of our cleansing organs, and so much liver issues not related to alcohol, and you know, I think we're just being inundated with toxins and the stress too. You know, stress is contributing to, right now they think, about 60 to 90% of our doctor's visits. That's huge. You know, so I think there's so many things that are in our control that we have to make different choices. You know, that's all we can do.
Exactly. Kathy, are you familiar with the recent decision by believe it or not, it happened right here in St. Louis where I'm located, Johnson & Johnson's, and we're all familiar with Johnson & Johnson's products, they were sued by a woman who died of ovarian cancer after using, and this just blew my mind because I did this as a teen because this is how we were raised as young women. To put talcum powder, you know, on our little bodies down there, our little sanitary pads and all that stuff. And unfortunately, it seems that Johnson & Johnson knew years ago that there was a possibility that you would get cancer from using their talcum powder down there, and they not once put any disclaimer on that. OMG. Exactly.
Yeah, it's so frustrating, and we can't. There are some companies that they do things and they don't know. When high fructose corn syrup came out, I'm very vehemently against high fructose corn syrup. I've heard interviews with the companies who introduced it, who said, hey, we didn't think about health consequences. We just knew it was a cheaper way to sweeten our stuff, and we were able to either lower the prices and or make more money. And you go, okay, well, I kind of understand that. Then once you know there's a problem, then you are obligated to say something, because knowledge is power. And to know something and not share that, to me, is just a horrible, horrible thing. This is why I tell people everything I know. Now, people have started pulling high fructose corn syrup out of their products because they saw the backlash of consumers like myself who said, no, I'm not eating that. And the most exciting, I'm very anti-GMO, and I'm very excited, Lynda. I heard on NPR yesterday that four companies, including ConAgra, which is one of the biggest ones that uses GMO products, they have agreed starting in, I don't remember what year, to label all their products if they contain any GMO ingredients. Yay!
Wonderful.
And we can thank Vermont for that, because Vermont passed that law, and they kept fighting it, and the court said, hey, people voted, we passed this law, you can't have a do-over. And so all these companies went, crap, if we need to label it in Vermont, our products ship all over the world, we can't just label Vermont's. So because of what Vermont did, thank you, Vermont, those four major companies, and we expect them all to follow suit, are going to be labeling GMOs.
Wow. Thank you for that. I actually have a Facebook page called What Are You Eating? And I'm going to put your book on there, too, and a copy of this and a link to this interview on there, too, because I agree with you, Kathy. I tell people all the time, listen, I'll be 58 years old on April the 24th, which is mind-boggling to me because I still feel 30.
Right, I get it. Me too.
Exactly. Especially with this new technology, it's allowing us to do things that we were told that you couldn't do, unless we gave you permission to do it. So now we can do it ourselves. But one of the things that really has always really kind of stuck in my craw with all this, the stuff that they're putting in the animals, think about this. When I was a kid, and my mom would make fried chicken, the chicken wings were little bitty old things. You could eat 3 or 4 of them because they were so small. Chicken wings nowadays, you go to Church's Chicken, you get this, looks like something from the Flintstones,
Totally.
This is just how much stuff that they're putting in our food, and you cannot tell me that what we eat is showing up in our bodies through sickness, disease, and at some point, guys, you have to take control of your own health. You really, really do. Now, I know we're running out of time, but there is a chapter in your book that if you could very briefly talk about it, it's on page 57, and the chapter is The Key to Unhealthy Living, the How to Stay Sick list. Okay, can you briefly go through that list? Because you know what? A lot of people don't realize that the things that they do keep them unhealthy.
Yeah. It starts with we have enormous power for our own healing, and our choices affect our outcomes. So if you want to stay sick, here's how. Tell everyone you meet how horrible your life is. Make it an identity instead of an anecdote. Blame everyone for everything. You have no personal responsibility. Say, why me a lot. Live in the past, think a lot of bad stuff, and make sure you tell everyone about it. Fear the future, you know it's going to suck. Don't relax, after all, you're very busy. Make excuses like, after the kids leave home, when I'm older, I'm too old. Believe what you think has no effect on the body. Believe your illness or sickness is hereditary and you have no control. Take no risks to grow. Never laugh, it's for idiots. Put yourself down at every turn. You truly are all those bad things you say. Blindly take every prescription your doctor gives you, assuming he has your best interest at heart. Focus on all your problems. Consume a lot of chemicals in food, water, air, and home products. Apologize for existing. Let fear guide you and keep you stuck. Try to fix everyone else. They're broken. Remember, you can never change. That's just a couple of them. I love that chapter. That's been in almost all of my books because everybody loves it. And then when I had given it to a friend to read, she goes, "Oh, Kathy, you really brought me down. Maybe you can have the stay healthy list too." So on the next page, there's all the stay healthy stuff. But sometimes it's through that negativity that we have to illustrate the bad things we're doing, and people hear that list and go, "Oh, geez, I do that."
Well, Kathy, believe it or not, we're down to our last 10 seconds on the show. You have been an awesome guest. I've really enjoyed chatting with you about your books and your experiences. I think that, like I said, I'm definitely going to put your information on my other website along with the Author Chat stuff because I think that your books are something that my followers on my Facebook fan page, again, it's called I have my little business card here. What are you eating? And it really kind of talks about because I'm sort of like in the health and wellness business too because I actually promote a meal replacement shake that actually took lots of weight off of myself. And I'm actually sipping on my Neon energy drink. It's an all-natural energy drink. I'm not for energy drinks or all the stuff that they have out there, but mine is totally all 100% natural. Made with 24% fruit juice. So these are the kind of things that I look for, guys. And like I said, at 58 years old, I'm not on any medication for high blood pressure, diabetes, and all that stuff runs in my family. I don't have any of it. First of all, I have a strong faith about my health. I'm constantly, watching out with what I eat, what I put in my body, my environment, because you have to be careful what you inhale too.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because we have I don't know if you guys have heard about this on the news, but there's a landfill in one of our cities out by the airport in the Bridgeton area. And unfortunately, if I take this one highway to work on my regular day job every day, I can inhale this. I can smell this. I don't care how many times you roll up your car window or put your air conditioner on, you can smell this toxic smell. And these poor residents have been living with this for years, and you can't tell me that it's not affecting their health.
Right.
It is mind-boggling. It is. Well, Kathy, thank you so much for coming on the show today and giving me an opportunity to vent about our medical system and the things that are going on.
I appreciate you having me, Lynda. Thanks.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, sweetheart. Take care.
You too. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Again, that was author Kathy Gruver. And again, that last name is Gruv as in Victor, E-R. And the title of the book that we were chatting about today is Journey of Healing, One Woman's Path to Healing Self and Others. But like I mentioned, she's got a couple of books over here on Amazon. And I'm going to put these on my What Are You Eating page. It's www.facebook.com/whatareyoueating and also on my Author Chat page for her. Now, if you'd like to get a copy of Kathy's book, the Kindle is $9.99, the paperback is $16.95, and you could probably find it also on Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, all major online retailers. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be right back here on the Author Chat Show. I can't believe that this is the end of March. Tomorrow is the last day of March. That is mind-boggling to me. We will have an author on Saturday's show. First-time author Nashia Williams will be on the show to talk about her new book. So that's our show for today. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Bye-bye.